Hello, America. Real quick, the Patriot Act. Couldn't wait to get to this one. Um, this is a call out to Congress. I know you're not listening, and I know you probably don't care because you're making millions off this oil initiatives, issues, whatever. I think I just combined both of those words, so that was fun until I realized what I'd done. Now it's time for my version of the Patriot Act. My version of the Patriot Act starts with a helmet. Goes on to safety goggles. Sunglasses work just as well. Anything that keeps the recoil from blasting back in your face, or a shell landing in your eyeball, hot as it is, be awful painful. Body armor. Good pair of boots. Good pair of pants. Hard corduroy denim. Something you can crawl on the ground with. Bullets, armor, leaders, generals. And I want to point out one general, in my opinion an absolutely shameless man, but he got the job done. George Washington. A lot of people don't realize this, but the reason why George Washington was always seen in paintings and depictions in a general's uniform was because he always wore it. He wore it like our present-day congressmen wear suits. When the Continental Congress came together, he showed up in uniform. In uniform. Everywhere he went, he was in uniform. So when the Continental Congress called out and said, "We need leaders for our great army," there he was, shameless as he is, in his Continental Army outfit, which probably he designed. Maybe he's got some fashion sense about him. But he was a great man. And Benedict Arnold, although a traitor to our country, was a good general until he defected. He was a traitor, and he took a lot of his troops with him because men follow leaders. This is a call out for leaders, generals, lieutenants, colonels, men and women can follow. Leaders, true leaders, people who look at the face of fire and do not become disgruntled, a little scared because that keeps your edge in battle, but smart leaders. So my version of the Patriot Act continues on with your weapon of choice. It's always good to have a handful of different types of weapon, varying sizes. According to the United Nations, an American army or any other army cannot use the weapons of an enemy unless, of course, we can read the language on that weapon. So, yeah, who cares? If the bullet fits, fire it. Because we're not actually part of a United Nations group. And when this is all said and done, we're going to shovel you off into the sea. So I'm not saying let's start a war. I'm saying let's start organizing. Let's find out who our leaders are. I think a man like Colin Powell would be a good man to lead a good army. A gentleman of his stature, his belief, and tactic, we could fight an excellent war, if it comes down to it. Colin Powell resigned. I'm sure his guilt of lying in front of the United Nations, what he was ordered to say, and being a good soldier, he did exactly as he was ordered to do by his chief and commander-in-chief. It doesn't exonerate him from these crimes, but his resignation, in my opinion, gives him credibility in my eyes, because he resigned knowing full well that what he had done was a lie. So that gives him a half credible way. So we're asking you to come out of retirement and help to lead a people's militia. Please. We need generals, sergeants, colonels, corporals, men who want to train men and women, or men and women who want to train men and women who have knowledge in weapons. We're going to need armor-piercing abilities. So any young people, or anyone in general, who has knowledge on how to build these types of weapons, we need your assistance. A common 14-year-old Afghani boy can make a rocket launcher, an effective killing machine. They took these things away from you when they burned the books like Anarchy, The Right to Freedom, and I mean, it's the first piece of a suppression of information and news in our country. So it's time to start training. No landmines. This is still going to be our country. We don't want to have the same problems Afghanistan had with landmines. They're called anti-personnel devices, okay. But the fact of the matter is, these landmines are devastating. 20, 30 years after the Russian invasion, they're still devastating people. So no landmines, no anti-personnel devices, short of bullets. A clean, fair fight. Oh, protective earwear. The ultrasonic weapons that they're using now are just absolutely deafening. So get yourself a taser. Start subjecting yourself to your own torture, not for joy, but because when the police hit you with it, you have to have a certain amount of respectability about it. We need higher weapons. We need. I mean, they have brick-piercing shells with human signature calls. They can see people behind a wall. They can shoot them behind the wall. There's a militia group out there, and I know you're out there. You folks actually got your hands on a nuclear weapon from a pilot who allegedly crashed. The crash site never recovered any nuclear weapon. So there's one faction in this country that has a nuclear weapon, and I'm sure they're not part of any kind of peace accord concerning nuclear proliferation. So I don't want your nuclear weapon, but I can sure use your forces. Just so long as the people see that there are groups that aren't afraid to stare down this government. And the people, I've called out time and time again for peaceful resolve. It's what I beg for most. But the closer we get to the time of infiltration, I know that peaceful resolve is a moot point. It's the same as humans have done all around the globe for centuries, which is why I'd like to see the pattern change. But this is a call for generals. This is my kind of Patriot Act. There were free-thinking men who weren't afraid to die for a Continental Congress and a government of belief systems that got away from oppression, tyrannical power, tyrannical being. All these people stand around and they say, this is just what has to happen in order for us to truly be free. And no, it's not. For us to truly be free, we first have to stop listening to the machine. So I guess rage against the machine is where I'm at right now. And this call out is uncharacteristic, because my version of a Patriot Act, a citizen, a patriot, a militiaman, myself, I believe in freedom. But freedom is never free. And doesn't everybody hate that? Doesn't everybody just hate that? Freedom is never free in America because we don't know how to think free anymore. People come here, they yearn to breathe free, and we would just as soon block them at our borders and say we're overpopulated. I don't think so. I think we could stand for a global population of free-thinking people who are willing to crush governments, all governments around the world, in lieu of not necessarily a police state, don't misunderstand, but a civilization of people who don't put the precedent on money and power and issue. Because America, we truly have to yearn and believe that what we're going to do is going to change the course of the globe. And we can do this. And we can do it globally. Australia, Russia, England, you name it. There isn't a country out there that couldn't do for peace. So America, please. My version of a Patriot Act may have to involve war. But you can't create legislation including the